line and speak to the Deputy National Organizer of the National Democratic Congress, Elikem Koto. He joins the discussion. Mr. Koto, good evening to you. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, Valentina, and to your cherished listeners too.
Well, they say that the NDC is trying to make it difficult for everybody to sign to a peace pact, because for you to demand all these things barely 4 months to election means that you just don't want to sign the peace pact.
Thank you so much. Who is saying so?
The NPP has said it. A couple of people have also said it.
The NPP has been perpetrators of evil, and therefore no wonder they will be saying so. But fortunately...
What evil did they perpetrate?
You are aware of the 8 people who died at Aboagye Central, at Techiman South, those who lost their lives as well. They have been the greatest beneficiary of the death of all these people.
Really?
And if they will not say anything about those deaths, Ayawaso wars were gone where people were maimed, etc. The Commission's report gave recommendations which have not been implemented by the President. And it is the reason why any leader who, for whatsoever reason, would make such reckless and unguarded commentary that I will only hand over power to my party person, such a leader is a very useless and an empty one.
No, but I mean, the President said again after that he would...
It is an afterthought because there has been an outcry, there's been a backlash where civil society groups and the general Ghanaian populace have made him realize that he was continually behaving very childish, and it was improper for him as the president of the country to continue making such reckless comments, and for which reason he now needs to give clarity or make a U-turn. He should be bold enough to say, I am sorry for what I said in the last time, I didn't mean it this way, or that what I said the last time was wrong, and I have make a change, and then he will be taken serious. He's the very reason why the NPP doesn't look attractive anymore.
Now, it looks like the NDC decided to catch the Peace Council unawares because there's been engagement with the NDC, political parties, Peace Council, security agencies, even the EC. The NDC never mentioned it, and until recently that you decided that, look, we're not going to sign this peace pact.
Let me break some news to you on your platform today.
Break it.
Will you be surprised to know that, for instance, when we met the Peace Council, the yesterday's meeting, even though we were aware they came with some media men, but we were not even informed they were streaming the program live, only for us to discover later it was being streamed live. Unfortunately, the truth doesn't need to be hidden or said in the dark, and therefore our chairman seized the opportunity to outline the very conditions that we thought must be met before we can sit at the table with those we consider to be very evil.
Okay, so you knew that the media was there as a media coverage. What were you thinking? That the media will record and go and put it down?
We thought that it was going to be a recorded program or just an interview and all of that. But it is just not a substantive matter, because what matters most is that our chairman seized the opportunity to outline very clearly what our conditions are.
The conditions you want Peace Council to address, you and I know that some of them does not lie in the remit of the Peace Council. The Peace Council is supposed to mediate.
Okay. We know very well a few of those do not lie in their bosom, but they are also advocates for peace. And if they agree with us, which I believe in principle they agree with us, we want to hear their voice. We don't want them to only be observing table manners until it's 4 months to elections before they find their voices. We expect that if they are in tandem with the conditions we have laid out, they should be bold enough to tell the president or to tell the regime or speak for Ghanaians to hear that, yes, the Peace Council believes that what the NDC is saying is justified. People were caught with over 1 million ballot boxes printed by themselves. They had not been prosecuted. And let me reiterate one profound statement made by the chairman of the party, that we are now living in a country where we can slap somebody out of elections and walk and be arrested for it or prosecuted. That you may even kill somebody during elections and be allowed to walk scot-free. That is not a democracy. That is not a rule of law. But that is what has become the order of the day under the leadership of what many have christened as the tyranny of His Excellency President Duffuor.
So why is the NDC not demanding these prosecutions from the police in your engagements with them?
Come again?
I'm asking, the prosecution of those people who illegally printed the electoral materials. Elikem, can you hear me?
Oh, sorry, I'm losing you.
Is it better? Because I'm at a particular place. Maybe you are moving around. Can you hear me now? Elikem, can you hear me? Okay, so we'll try and re-establish contact with Elikem, and then I'll finish up with him with 2 quick questions. But I'm still staying on this. The Peace Council has also warned against the spread of misinformation and disinformation ahead of the December 7 elections.
Others have asked the council, why are you not calling the executive to order, forgetting that there are institutions like Parliament, the Council of State, and civil society organizations who have roles to play in that regard. The National Peace Council, therefore, is presumed by a section of Ghanaians to have powers above every institution in this country, and therefore should be able to pronounce on every matter. Unfortunately, that is not the case. Our mandate is to mediate through dialogue. We only have our mouth and nothing else, unless Act 818 is amended. Hate speech, misinformation, and disinformation has become widespread in recent times, particularly with the online news platforms and on social media.
So that's the chairman of the National Peace Council, Reverend Dr. N.S. Edujemfi. Fortunately, we've been able to get Elikem Koto. He's on the road, actually, so that's why there's that problem with the line there. Elikem, so I was asking you why the NDC was not demanding all these, the prosecution of the persons who illegally printed over 1 million ballot papers on election that the police arrested. Why are you not demanding it from the police in several meetings? And then again, my quick question before we wrap up is that if for 3 years, almost 4 years, you haven't had results, what makes you think that 3 months to election you get results for you to then sign to the peace pact?
In the first place, we have been demanding this ever since news broke of those incidents. We can't live in what could almost qualify for a banana republic. Things are not functioning. And so we believe that if the Peace Council wants to step in and act as a good arbiter, then, or a good referee, then we expect of them to do A, B, and C. And is it surprising that we have a police service in this country and we expect to believe that the rule of law is functioning? Yes, these incidents happened, and they have not been prosecuted up to now. Meanwhile, we have a president who has actually christened himself as a doyen of human rights law activism and all of that. But it is a failed republic we find ourselves now. However, we will not relent because we feel there's a need to still repeat this thing. It is the more reason why we are saying that if these conditions cannot be met, then there will not be the need for the NDC to be party to any such document. For instance, why will we not have the Attorney General append his signature to that? Why will we not have the Chief Justice do the same? How about the IGP? And how about the Electoral Commission itself, in addition to the political parties? And to also have the President come out publicly to speak again of his right intentions, that he didn't speak well, for Ghanaians to know that he's remorseful of his misconduct.
And again, I'm very grateful for your time. That's a Deputy National Organizer of the NDC, Elikem Koto. Let's stay a while longer on election-related matters, because the head of Electoral Commission's training department, Dr. Sribo Kweku, has justified the 50 pesos charge on online verification of voter registration details. This seems to be a response to Member of Parliament for South Dine, Roxy Nelson Echedapiamekpo, who is questioning the decision. The EC introduced a short code *71151# as an alternative means for voters who cannot visit the polling centers in the ongoing voter exhibition exercise to confirm if their names are in the voters register ahead of the December 7, 2024 general elections. In a post on X, the MP questioned the rationale behind the fee, considering the Parliament had already approved the budget for the voter registration exercise. He also spoke to the parliamentary press corps and expressed concern over the transparency of the fee collected.
You don't have to accept everything like this because you cost your program. The EC is mandated under law to cost its activities and bring same to Parliament for approval. They have just done that. So we are asking for accountability.
that they should come and account for it, or they should stop the charge?
If they want to proceed with it, then they have to come and account for it. Because Parliament cannot give you money to do this and you turn back and charge the people. I am saying that doing this amounts to charging money before persons are permitted to look at their names in the register. That is not acceptable. That is not the legal structure in place.
So that's the Member of Parliament for South Dine, Roxanne Nelson Eche Dapiamekpo. However, head of the Electoral Commission's training department, Dr. Sribo Kweku, has clarified that the 50 pesos fee for checking voter registration details online is not going to the coffers of the Electoral Commission, but rather to the service provider.
It's for the service charges. It's for the service provider, not for the Electoral Commission. It's 50 pesos. A peso doesn't come to the Electoral Commission. It's for the service charges. And in 2016, it was the same. 2020 is the same, and 2024 is the same. Service charge, you can contact the service providers. It's for service charges, not for the Electoral Commission. If we were to be coming to the Electoral Commission, then that is our money that we should account for. But for the service charges, so if you use MTN and the money goes to MTN, if you use TRSL, it goes to a TRSL. If we're talking budget, the money is coming to Electoral. Ours is that go to the polling station to go and check on your name. Then the providers is okay. We can also make the service available to people who cannot go. So if you cannot go, then you are using the service provider facility to check on the name, and that's the charge you pay for using their services. The service provider say that they can check through their system to get it, and they will charge you for using it. It's a collaboration between the two of us. So we have to provide them with the data before they can do the checking for you. But I'm saying that not a damn come to the Electoral Commission. So when you check, the 50 pesos you pay, it goes to the service provider. If you are using your phone calls and you pay. That is the same thing. If you send text messages, you pay, right? This is for them. So go to the service providers. Electoral Commission doesn't benefit from that money. It's facilitating the work for us. We budgeted for people who will go to the centers to check on their names, right? That is what is in the law. But the alternative way, if you want to sit in the comfort of your house and check on it, then you go to the service provider for them to help you. But even there, when you go there and there's a challenge, you still have to go to the exhibition center before you can change or correct any anomaly. If I'm not charging you, how can I drop it? And like I said, you are supposed to go to the exhibition center to go and check on your name, right? So if you don't want to pay, you go to the exhibition center and check on your name.
So that's the head of Electoral Commission's training department, Dr. Sribo Kweku. Let's speak to Member of Parliament for South Dine, Roxanne Nelson Eche Dafiamekpo. Council, good evening to you. Thank you very much for your time tonight on 505.
Thank you very much, and I'm happy to have joined you.
So an explanation has been provided. Simply put, if you don't want to pay the 50 pesos, just go to the center and verify your details. Do you have your answers?
Now, that is no explanation.
So what is it?
That is no explanation. That is an excuse to justify what is happening. An illegal act. It is the Electoral Commission that has issued a statement and giving the code out. It is not the telcos. So to tell me that the telcos are helping them to facilitate the services of the Electoral Commission at the cost to be borne by the citizens is untenable. It has no place in our electoral laws, and the activity is an unlawful one. So I am saying that what is the relationship for them to contract for this service? Who sanctions it? You just don't get up and say that, for instance, I am supposed to print a voter's ID card for you. But if you don't want to come to the station, to the Electoral Commission's office to have your voter's ID card, a telco is capable of printing an electronic one. So go there and pay money and collect it. Is that what the Electoral Commission is telling us? The Electoral Commission is mandated in law to contract service providers to enhance their functions. If indeed they want a telco to assist them to expedite the processes of the provisional registers exhibition, they ought to have said so expressly and budgeted for it for Parliament to approve of it. You don't ask for a budget to conduct a provisional exhibition of a provisional register and turn around and go and contract a telco to be levied charges against citizens for them to use a certain service to facilitate the exhibition. It has no place in our democratic ethos for an electoral commission to encourage this. Yes, by all means, let everybody walk to the police center or the exhibition center and check his or her name, or have clerical errors corrected. If the Electoral Commission wants to enhance the services they offer by contracting a telco, they have to say so expressly. So the excuse that it is the telcos who are charging and no sense is coming to the Electoral Commission is neither here nor there. They are using the services of the telco upon a certain understanding that the telco will levy the people this 50 pesos. Look, Valentina, the amount may seem negligible, but if you look at the huge numbers of people who will be using this service, that's a lot of money.
Mm.
And this is second, this is not the first time Electoral Commission is charging for its services. You recall that during the limited registration exercise, if you misplace your voter's ID card, the Electoral Commission charged you 10 Ghana cedis.
Yes.
And they directed you to pay the money into a certain bank account and bring evidence of payment before they issue the card.
Yes.
Ask them who collected that money. We've been asking them to come and account for that money. They are yet to do so. The Electoral Commission is a constitutional body. It is not set up as a profit-making entity. So their services are completely funded by the state. Anything they want to do, it has to be totally funded by the state.
But again, Dr. Asibokweku says it's just like you making a call or sending a text message. So when you make a call, your service provider is going to charge you or deduct you for it. When you send a text message, that's going to happen. So it's just like following that text, that short code to check your name. And even besides, so if you don't want to pay that, come to the office, because even if you use that service and you are charged and there's a problem with your details, either misspelling of your name, there's an omission, you still have to go to the EC's office to do that. So it's not like there's a contract between them.
Now, Valentina, that is why the analogy is inapplicable. A telco is an entity established for purposes of generating profit and to render the services of telephone making. That is their core business. And it's a private entity. The core mandate under the Constitution in Article 42 and 45 is for the Electoral Commission set up to offer electoral services at no cost to the citizen. No cost to the citizen. So no aspect of the services the Electoral Commission offers should come at a cost when a citizen wants to have access to it. That is the principle I am laying. And I'm saying that even the agreement, so why are they not charging 1 cedi or 2 cedi? Or 5 cedi? So who agreed that the service fee be paid at 50 pesos? Why are they not charging 0.011 pesos? So there is some form of agreement, and we are saying that this is untenable, it's unacceptable. It has to be reversed, it has to be cancelled, it has to be stopped.
So, yes, it's an illegality, you say, but it's currently going on. The EC is charging. Parliament is the only body that can stop it. By the time you come from recess, these monies would have been collected. What's the remedy?
I heard him say that no sense is coming to the Electoral Commission. In fact, it's making their case worse. Because you have contracted an entity to charge citizens for a certain service that is supposed to be offered by the Electoral Commission. The entity is charging money, and the Electoral Commission claims that the monies are not coming to it, and therefore perhaps they are not accountable. They will have to account for it. It is an illegality. And so whether or not they account for it, the action is wrong. It has no place in our electoral laws. It must be stopped. If they want a telco to offer such a service as a fee, they ought to have come to Parliament with it for approval. That didn't happen. And Valentina, if 8 million people check their registration, if out of the 18.3 million people, if 18 million, let's even say 10 million check their names on the provisional voters register using this code, that is 5 million Ghana cedis. That's a lot of money.
Free money for the telcos.
Thank you.
Will we get some answers from the EC on this?
They are yet to issue a statement on the matter.
No, from as members who are supposed to demand accountability. Are we going to get some answers?
I have made a demand that it's an illegality. It should be withdrawn. I made a public statement, and I expect that they will be responding formally. And I before I came on the line, I heard him speak with an official of the Electoral Commission. I heard the spurious excuses that he offered. It doesn't wash. It doesn't satisfy the issue. The levies are unlawful. The Electoral Commission has no power to levy citizens for the electoral services they offer, whether manually or electronically.
Well, we'll see how this goes. Council, very grateful that you joined us. That's a member of Parliament for South Dying, Roxanne Nelson Eche Dapiamekpo.